Honourable Speaker, the Honourable Chair of the NCOP, Mr. President, Mr. Deputy President, fellow Cabinet colleagues and Deputy Ministers, the Governor of the Reserve Bank and Deputy Governors, the MECs of Finance, fellow South Africans, ladies and gentlemen. It is my privilege to introduce the third budget of President Zuma's administration. Mr. President, you have given us a clear and historic challenge, and I quote, to write a new story about South Africa, the story of how, working together, we drove back unemployment and reduced economic inequality and poverty, close quote. This budget has been crafted at a challenging but nonetheless very hopeful time. We have to say to our people that economic uncertainty will be with us for some time. You're going to hear the word Greece many more times. Yet we have a program of economic change that can steadily roll back unemployment, poverty, and inequality. We have demonstrated excellent resilience during the post-2008 crisis. We now need to introduce a new dynamism amongst all South Africans. It requires an extraordinary national effort from all role players, committed not just to identifying the barriers to progress, not just to proposing solutions, but also working together over the long haul, because this is going to be a long haul. Our new story, our period of transition, is about building modern infrastructure, a vibrant economy, a decent quality of life for all South Africans, reduced poverty, decent employment opportunities. It is a story that must be written by all of us, not just by government, not just by business, not just by unions, but by all of us, South Africans from all corners of this country. The legacy of our past is not only that of difficulty and despair. We can draw pride justly from the celebration of the ANC's centenary and build on this past to get things done today. The idea of unity in action, working together to realize practical goals, must be revived. The idea of an active citizenry, drawn into motion by dedicated activists and honest activists, and inspired by a compelling vision of the future, has to be renewed. Every one of the last 100 years has seen our nation overcome obstacles that seemed initially insurmountable. Some may have been beyond our control, the result of changes to the environment to which we were compelled to adjust. Some were the result of our failure to act, even when solutions were known to us. Others were the unintended consequences of our own successes. A towering leader of our movement, Ubaba Walter Sisulu, wrote from his prison cell on Robben Island, and I quote, "In a certain sense, the story of our struggle is a story of problems arising and problems being overcome. It is understandable that many of the problems should generate much controversy and emotion. However cool and detached we may strive to be in our analysis, the fact remains that we are deeply involved and interested parties, and the solutions we adopt are solutions we ourselves have to implement." Close quotes. We will not turn away from our challenges. We must confront them boldly and with hope. In harnessing all the resources at our disposal, we have to do more with less, and you're going to hear me say that very often. We have to work smarter and harder. South Africans must focus on our strengths and opportunities to identify and activate the levers of economic change and social change at our disposal. Mr. President, you have given effect to the wisdom of Baba Sisulu. Through the work of the Planning Commission, this country now has a 20-year vision. Through your initiative, we now have a massive infrastructure program, also extending over 20 years, which will increase the growth and job-creating potential of this economy. We remain steadfast in addressing the challenges of creating jobs, reducing poverty, building infrastructure, and expanding our economy. If we have to summarize today's budget, Mr. Speaker, the following are the highlights. The global environment remains highly uncertain. While there are signs of a revival in the US economy, much of Europe is in recession, and significant financial risks cloud the global economic outlook. Greece sorted out some of its problems late on Monday night or early hours of Tuesday morning, but they haven't sorted out all of their problems. South Africa's finances are in good health. A budget deficit of 4.6% of GDP is projected in 2012-2013. We plan to reduce the deficit to 3% of GDP in 2014-15, and the public debt will stabilize at about 38% of GDP. An expansion in infrastructure investment is one of the central priorities of the 2012 budget. Special emphasis is given to improving competitiveness in industry, investment in technology, encouragement of enterprise development, and support for agriculture. Total spending will reach 1.1 trillion rands next year, representing some 32% of GDP. I thought you'll clap. You've graduated to a new level, you know. Education, health, and now we can talk in trillions. We can forget billions slowly. Education, health, and social assistance will remain the largest categories of expenditure, sustaining and expanding the social wage over the MTEF period ahead. Investment in people is at the center of our growth and development strategy. The budget continues to support job creation with a particular focus on unemployed youth, for whom we need to do a lot more. The budget provides for personal income tax relief of 9.5 billion rands, with further measures to increase tax compliance. Measures are proposed to invigorate household savings. We will strengthen financial management in the public sector, pursue value for money with the greatest possible vigor, and ensure that taxpayers' money is well used. Fraud and corruption will be combated through changes to procurement policies and practices and tough enforcement of the law. Giving the budget practical effect cannot be a project of government alone. In Setswana, we say, Mabocho Dinkua Tebana. I'm learning. Meaning we have to work together to achieve more. Government has supported the recovery from the 2008 recession, but as we expand infrastructure investment over the period ahead, we have to see business investing in our future as well. Government has expanded social assistance to households over the past decade, but employment and economic growth have to be the main future drivers of income growth and poverty reduction. Government is responsible for developing effective municipalities and broadening access to services, but business, civil society, and organized labor have to be partners in building cohesive communities and promoting much more intensive social solidarity. And so, Mr. Speaker, in tabling the 2012 budget, we have this to say, that this is what we undertake to do, not just as government, but as a nation. Our development requires every one of us to ask, what can I do for my country, my people, and our future? Not what government can do for me.